on this topic for a bit here. I was going to have my buddy Micah Johnson, former MLB player turned artist and philanthropist, on. Our schedules could not connect over the weekend, and then I kind of wanted to get this out before the playoffs, so I'm going to throw it out here. But as you see that scrolling by, is baseball no longer cool? And I really thought about this in the context of like Shohei Ohtani, right? And I know like Stephen A. Smith and First Take really control, like a lot of times things like maybe pop on Twitter or Threads or Instagram or whatever, right, on social. And then those topics kind of show up from a TV perspective, and then it stays in the ethos, right, in our conversation for like 24 to 48 hours, right? But baseball, for some reason, has really lost its luster. And Clayton Kershaw is retiring. Unbelievable career, like truly one of the great pitchers, really, of his, probably him, Verlander, Scherzer. Of this, DeGrom is close, but he's been so injured, right? You feel like Kershaw and Verlander are like the 1-2, depending on how you want to look at that, of the past 2 decades here. And I felt like I know it hit, like people talked about it for a second. MLB tweeted out a couple videos, obviously, when he came out against the Mariners. But then you're like, when colossal people in the game retire, or in a game, right, retire, there's typically this, like, I'll say, like we kind of mourn them, right? Like we have this period where we really go through everything that they've done, and we talk about it, and we dissect everything. And are they first ballot? Are they not first ballot? Baseball now is so regional. Like you only really get that on MLB Network. You don't get these long conversations on ESPN or Fox Sports or any of that or any of these podcasts about, these great, gigantic players of the game anymore. And then it makes me think, like, is it because of the non-cool factor, or is it because the people that are kind of controlling what we do from a media perspective don't want to push baseball because it's not going to get the clicks? And there's probably some Venn diagram of like clicks to coolness and all that type of stuff, right? And it really made me think over the weekend, and then it made me think about this next generation, right? You're going to have Mike Trout soon, Stanton, Judge are over 30, Harper's over 30. Like, what happens when those guys retire? And obviously, like they're not, their performance is most likely going to start to decline. Trout's has already declined, and I am gonna save my Mike Trout thing for later. Maybe I think after the playoffs, because it feels like we need to have a conversation there of like what he's been lately and like what that means for his career. But yeah, just I really, and then in the terms of going back to the coolness of baseball, I thought about this like I'm a 90s kid, right? So baseball was so cool in the 90s, right? I have my hat backwards right now, as long as I think it looks better. But obviously I grew up watching Ken Griffey Jr. He had his hat backwards all the time. Guys were in commercials, right? Even like Glavine and Maddox were in commercials with like Mark McGuire. And
Feel bigger? Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Chicks dig the long ball.
And Pujols had a whole Nike line, right? I don't believe now, especially like because however Trout wants to be represented, I don't believe there's a guy with a true like Nike line anymore, right? There's Nike baseball still, but I don't think there's any guy that has I could be wrong there, but and that just goes to show you like where are we with the pantheon of baseball? Like, is it no longer is it no longer, like, will it continue to kind of decline and like what we think about in terms of coolness and like all the things? And that feels sad. That also feels like a weird place to be going, because on the other side, like viewership and attendance are all up for baseball, right? They've done people have really loved I'm a little bit of a traditionalist and a purist because I played the game, but the pitch clock has worked in a lot of ways. Some of the new rules have worked, like the bigger bases, people being able to steal more. That's all worked, right? Putting more action into it, taking the shift out, which I think should have happened. So, yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious where we go, right? Because in my opinion, Shohei Ohtani should be the biggest star in America.